up guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today I've got another overused match. This is using the same team as I was in the previous video, and this is against Ian from Twitter. So right off the bat, looking at the team preview, I noticed this man's rocking some pretty big threats. I am afraid of the Mew, the Tapu Fini could be a problem. I gotta be afraid of the Heatran, and overall just some pretty well-balanced team there. So let's go ahead and get right into it here. Alright, so I'm just going to be going with my go-to lead on this team, and that is my Tapu Koko, to be able to get a nice little Specs Volt Switch off on whatever he wants to lead with, and he is going to go with the Galvantula, and you know, I do expect this thing to do what Galvantulas do, and that is just set up the Sticky Web on the first turn. So I get up that Electric Terrain, and I'm just going to go ahead and get a nice little Volt Switch here, and I do feel pretty safe bringing anything in, because like I said, these things do generally just set up the Sticky Web. So I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity to switch into my Alakazam. I know I'll be able to outspeed after the webs, but he catches me by surprise, and he ends up going just right for the Thunder, which is a nice play, because that's going to kill my Alakazam before I could even Mega Evolve, and no Cereal is going to get killed today. So that is a real bummer. I'm already down my Alakazam, so I'm just going to go ahead and bring right back in Tapu Koko. Don't really have any reason not to, as I can just finish this thing off with a Dazzling Gleam, and that is easily going to go ahead and squish that Spider. So that's pretty nice. I guess I don't have to worry about the Sticky Web anymore, but then again, I did have a Rapid Spinner on my team, so that's probably why he made that prediction in the first place. But he's actually going to bring in the Serperior. He decides to go for the Glare, expecting a switch. I just stay in, kind of making the safe play here. I know that I could take at least one Leaf Storm from that thing, and it worked out nicely because he over-predicted, and that's perfect. So now he's going to bring in the Hot Tranny, as I just go right for the Dazzling Gleam, just keep on firing those off, but it's not going to do too much to that thing, and at this point, I'm expecting him to probably just want to go for the Stealth Rock, so I'm going to go ahead and switch Banana out of there. I don't really have anything to do. I am spexed into Dazzling Gleam, and I'm just going to bring in Young 2-Zap. So he actually ends up going for the Lava Plume, so that hurts me a little bit, but honestly, it's not too bad of a matchup for me, considering I do have Roost, and I can hit this thing pretty hard with Discharge and potentially get some little paralysis, and it could be fun. So the electricity is going to disappear from the old battlefield, as at this point I'm just going to go ahead and fire off a Discharge, hope for as much damage as possible, maybe a Para, but it actually doesn't do very much at all, and I don't get the Para there. So that kind of sucks, but I am going to just go for a Roost here, get some health back after the leftovers, as we're just kind of both just munching down over here, having a nice little picnic, just eating some leftovers. So I am going to go ahead and land on the ground a little bit, get some health back, can take a nice little break. These wings get tired, you know? Just staying over here flapping these Dorito wings around all day, it's exhausting. So he actually takes this opportunity to just set up some Stealth Rock. I'm assuming he expected me to switch there, but not too big of a deal. I can spin those away later, and Zapdos is looking pretty damn healthy. So I'm just going to honestly stay in here and just keep on firing off discharges. My team doesn't really deal with Heatran all that well, so I'm just going to, you know, just keep on doing my Zapdos thing, as I get a critical hit and the paralysis there. So that is quite unlucky for him, but it's perfect for me because now I know that one more discharge should be able to take this thing out, and Zapdos is actually looking pretty healthy at this point. So I expect him to probably just leave that Heatran in to die to one more discharge. He got his rocks up, and there's not really a whole lot of switch-ins he has to a discharge. He probably doesn't want to risk another Para, so he just stays in, and one more discharge is going to take that thing out. So that thing's gone, and honestly I haven't seen a Heatran in forever, but it brings back memories of the old Gen 5 days. But yeah, so now he's going to go ahead and bring in the Mew. I don't really know what this thing is going to go for. Obviously, they kind of just have any opportunity for any move sets, but he turns out to be the Munium Z1, and he's going to go ahead and activate that shit right now, and this is pretty much overkill, and this is probably like one of my favorite moves in the game. He's going to hit me with the Genesis Supernova, summons the power of fucking DNA or something, and he's just gonna go ahead and throw that big ball of matter at me, and you know, Zapdos is not feeling like I can take that too well, so he chucks that right at my face, and that is gonna be a dead Zapdos, so that does kind of suck. I lose my defense wall, but at least he did pop that Z Crystal, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. So the battlefield is going to get weird, and I'm like, you know what? I like purple, but I like electric better. So I decided to just bring in my Tapu Koko, who is going to get rid of that psychic terrain and just switch it for an electric terrain, which is really nice. So I'm just going to go ahead and fire off a Volt Switch. I expected him to kind of switch, but he just stays in here, and the Specs Volt Switch actually does a whole bunch of damage to that thing, which is perfect. So now I can just bring in my Chansey, who does a great job at walling Mew. Honestly, I actually really like using Chansey. I never use this thing because I hate it so much, but I've come to come to get used to it. So he hits me with a psychic, does like negative damage, and now he decides he's just gonna go ahead and nasty plot, because you can kind of freely set up on Chansey. That's kind of one of the bad things. You do get thunder waved, which is nice, but he can set up as many nasty plots as he wants. But then again, I can still actually take quite a few of them. I wasn't worried about the synchronize. I really just wanted to get that thing paralyzed to be able to take care of it later. So he's just gonna go for another nasty plot here. He's just thinking some real nasty thoughts. I don't even want to know what's going through that Mew's head right now, as I'm just gonna go ahead and seismic toss him. I don't know how the hell Chansey just gets into space like that. Don't ask me. I'm fat as hell, but for some reason I can jump real high. But now he goes for another psychic. After the 2 nasty plots, it's still not gonna do very much damage, and one more seismic toss is gonna take care of the Mew. But I did get the para there on my Chansey, so I should be pretty easy to take out, as he's going to end up bringing in his Tyranitar, and he gets that Sandstorm out. So I actually come to find later on that this Tyranitar did turn out to be choice banned, so he goes for the Pursuit. He expects me to switch out there, but I just decide to stay in. I'm like, you know, I'm just going to be an annoying Chansey and just spread some more paralysis, because it is going to be really useful for me to have this thing nice and slow and have the chance for the full paralysis. So my Chansey is pretty much dead at this point. I am actually going to go down to the next Sandstorm damage. I could have gone for a soft-boiled here, which actually I probably should have, but I just went for the seismic toss, just trying to get a little bit of chip damage on whatever, as he's going to bring out his Tapu Fini, gets the battlefield nice and pink. It is just, we've had multiple colors on this damn freaking tie-dye battlefield out here, as I do get a little decent chunk of damage from the seismic toss, and I am going to go down to the Sandstorm damage. So I lose my Chansey. That does kind of suck. I've lost both of my walls at this point, but there is still hope for a nice little Hawlucha sweep, which I've been kind of keeping in the back pocket of this team. So I'm going to bring out the Tapu Koko, as freaking just Tapus all over the damn place. Bring out the Electric Surge, and I'm just going to finish this thing off with the Thunderbolts. I am faster, and I'm choice spec, so that is going to be a dead Tapu Fini, which is perfect. And I really am just kind of I wanted to set up that Electric Surge, so when I bring in my Hawlucha, I'll be able to pop the Electric Seed. So now he brings in the Tyranitar. I'm choice specced into Thunderbolt. I don't really have any business going for that, as I'm just going to go ahead and switch right into my Excadrill here. The reason for that was, honestly, I was expecting him to go for the Earthquake. There was no reason for him to not go for Earthquake, but he actually ends up going for Stone Edge. I'm guessing he was expecting a switch into maybe my Hawlucha at that point. That actually would have been a great play. It probably would have changed the outcome of the match, but I just switched into Excadrill just to basically die, and then I'd be able to freely bring in my Hawlucha and get that Electric Seed and potentially set up like some Swords Dances. But he is choice banded into Stone Edge, so he's just going to stay in and keep going for that, as one more Earthquake is going to take care of the Tyranitar, so that thing is dead as hell. And now his last Pokemon is going to be that Serperior. So I really needed that electric terrain up, essentially just so that when I bring in Hawlucha, I'll be able to get the Unburden boost. So the Serperior comes in, obviously faster. He's going to go ahead and toss a nice little Leaf Storm at me. That is going to not actually knock me out. I live it with 11 HP, and my only attacking move on this thing is Earthquake, I guess, and Rapid Spin, but I mean, really, Earthquake's the only option there, and it doesn't end up knocking this thing out, and I was like, holy shit, I really, this might be bad. So the electric terrain goes away. Luckily, though, I do still have Tapu Koko. So he goes for one more Leaf Storm. That's going to take care of Holy Moly. And now the only real thing I can do is just go ahead and bring back in the Tapu Koko just to set up that electric terrain. I know that the Serperior is going to be faster than my Banana, but really all I needed to do was to set up that Electric Surge, so that is what I'm going to do, and he is just going to end up killing me with a Leaf Storm here. So it all comes down to our last Pokemon. My last is my Hawlucha, and he has this Serperior with like freaking 10 HP. So down goes Tapu Koko. This thing's special attack is just through the damn roof at this point, but I've got my boy Ric Flair, and it's time to Ric Flair drip on some bitches. So I come out, I am going to pop that Electric Seed, which activates my Unburden boost. If you're unfamiliar, after you use your item, it does double your speed. So I get that defense boost and the doubled speed, which does allow me to outspeed the Serperior, and that thing is going to go down. So that was a very interesting match. It came right down to it. Hawlucha is the real MVP there, and that was pretty damn fun. So instead of just stopping there, I do actually have one more battle for you guys, and this is against Obi, and this man's team is scary as hell. He's got all sorts of legendaries, along with the Chansey and Clefable combos, so this might be pretty damn difficult, and let's go ahead and just get right into it. Alright, so by now you know the deal. I'm just going to go ahead and lead off with my Banana, and he ends up leading off with his Hoopa Unbound, and these things are scary as hell. Look at that. Look at how many hands this man has, but After running some damage calcs, I find out that I can't actually kill it in one hit with the Dazzling Gleam, so I'm just going to go ahead and Volt Switch, as he's going to switch into Big Mama, which is the Chansey, which I was expecting to come in if he didn't stay. So the Volt Switch is nice because this gives me momentum against the Chansey. I can bring in whatever, and I decided to just go right into my Excadrill because I can hit hard with Earthquake, and I can take this time to set up my Stealth Rock, which will be pretty damn useful. So this Chansey doesn't really have a whole lot to do against my Holy Moly, so he's going to go ahead and switch right back into the old Hoopa. And I am going to be able to get my Stealth Rock up for free, which is real nice. So I don't really have any switch-ins to this thing, and I figure I might be faster. I'm probably faster, so I'm just going to stay in and go for an Earthquake. And it actually, this thing lives it with like 1 HP, which I was very surprised. I was like, what the hell? So this allows him to unfortunately go for a Drain Punch, which is going to knock me down to my Focus Sash. I leave it with 1 HP. It's going to give him a whole bunch of health back. But the good news is I am faster, so I have no reason to switch out here. I'm just going to go for another Earthquake, as he is going to end up switching, and he's going to go right into the Mew here. So this thing isn't levitating. For some reason, he still gets hurt by the ground shaking, even though he's literally flying right there. But the Earthquake does a whole bunch of damage, as this thing is going to be leftovers, and I don't really know what kind of Mew this is going to be, so I'm kind of afraid, and I'm just going to stay in and just go for another Earthquake here, as he ends up going for the Roost, so that shows me it's probably more of a support variant. So the Earthquake is going to come back again, do a bunch of damage to this thing, and he's probably going to end up just going ahead and killing me, but that's fine because Excadrill, he kind of did his job at this point. I got those rocks up, and we're looking like I'm in a pretty decent spot here. So I'm just going to go for another Earthquake, as this thing ends up Will-O-Wisping me, which is kind of interesting. Maybe he was expecting me to switch out, but I do get one more Earthquake up with the damage decrease from the burn. It's not going to do a whole lot, and I am going to die this next turn from that burn damage. So that was kind of, he took the long route to killing me, but the Will-O-Wisp, I guess, does the trick. So I'm just going to bring right back in Tapu Koko, and I'm like, you know what, just going to bring this freaking Electric Surge back. I really want Hawlucha to be able to come in and do some shenanigans. So I'm just going to go for a nice little Volt Switch here. I know he's probably going to want to bring back in that Chansey, and this is a perfect opportunity for me to switch right into my Hawlucha, and I can potentially set up against this Chansey. So this thing is pretty whittled down. I know that a high jump kick will kill it even without a Swords Dance, so I come in, get that Electric Seed, activate the Unburden, and I'm looking pretty ready to go here. So I decided to just go right for the high jump kick, just in case that Chansey wanted to Thunder Wave me, but he isn't going to end up switching into the other pink thing that looks exactly the same, and the Clefable's not going to take too much damage from that. So I know that if this Clefable isn't invested in special attack, I should be able to live a Moonblast. So this gives me a free opportunity to set up a Swords Dance here, and he does go for the Moonblast, which doesn't end up knocking me out. It leaves it with 8 HP, which is insane. I was really just hoping he didn't have any special attack investment, and that is perfect because now I can go for a nice little full power and acrobatics with the +2. I do end up getting a critical hit, and that was actually pretty important because, as it turns out, his Clefable was actually max HP and max defense. So he actually should have been able to live that with like 10 HP left or 10% HP left. And it really is kind of a bummer because now at this point, Hawlucha is faster than his entire team because of the Unburden. And I danced with some swords, so everything is gonna die to in acrobatics. And so the Mew comes in. He's actually gonna end up forfeiting because there's nothing left on his team that can take an attack from Hawlucha. And yeah, so that's the end of that match. I kind of just wanted to tack this one off on the end because, why not? Hawlucha is pretty damn amazing, and it's a fun strategy. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and hit that like button on this video if you enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe for some more Wi-Fi battles. Peace out.